We may finally have the answer to the question of what is the king of wrestling cards.
The king!
No, not those kings.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking about the best cards out there that people want to add to their collections. And the cards that bring in the most money and the most attractive buzz. Is the news that breaks within wrestling or anything that would affect the hobby actually bigger and affecting card prices and popularity and demand more than we realize? Do people still like vintage wrestling cards? And how much would you be willing to pay for a non-certified autograph? This is the Wrestling Card Market Watch for February 2024. What's up, wrestling fans, trading card collectors? Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Cards. Each month I do one of these videos looking back at some interesting cards, sales, and then extracting some talking points out of those to hopefully better serve you, the collectors, to kind of navigate the wild world of wrestling cards and the hobby in general. In my opinion, February was more of a confirmation month. And what I mean by that are kind of the things that we've talked about before on any of these previous Market Watch videos or any of the other videos on this channel. Again, you can check out all that stuff in the archives. But I've touched on a lot of different things, and some of the sales that we're going to talk about today actually reinforce some of those statements. So let's go. Headline sale of the month: one-of-ones are the ultimate collection pieces. I've been saying this for a while now, and it seems like common sense, but people still argue and debate this. Well, you know, is it the one-of-one? Is it the rookie card? I know with more modern products, we do have one-of-one rookie cards, but that's not necessarily always the case. But before we talk about that, let's give some examples of some one-of-ones that came to market in February. 2020 Topps WWE Transcendent Sasha Banks Auto one-of-one PSA 7 with a 9 on the auto. $2,949 with $9.25 shipping. We had the 2021 Topps WWE Undisputed Kane one-of-one gold frame, $1,495.12. However, a best offer of $700 was accepted. Lastly, we had a 2023 WWE Prism Black one-of-one Kiana James, $2,000. However, a best offer of $1,400 with $10 shipping was accepted. And believe it or not, that's actually just a small sample size of the one-of-ones that I saw come to market in February. But we may have finally established the king of wrestling cards, and that is the one-of-one. And it's continually being debated, as I stated earlier, more so on the value. I'm not really the rarity, although there are people who want to argue that some products have too many one-of-ones. The argument of rarity of a one-of-one compared to like a rookie card or an auto, that's not really for debate. But something that could be debated is the value. Or maybe what is the specific card that you should go after of a specific talent? Is it the rookie card? Is it the one-of-one? Is it an auto? Or maybe what parallel to go to? And I feel like with more modern product, and specifically with wrestling, but you could take this into other Star Wars, sports cards, whatever that's out there. People who are more into the modern stuff, I think, get this concept a lot more. And on the flip side, maybe they push this agenda a little bit more as well. And from my time within the hobby and what I've seen, read, and heard, their arguments for the one-of-ones are really that they're the best card of that specific talent, whatever it is. It's the only one there is. Nobody else can have it. And in their opinions, that's the true definition of rarity. And honestly, whether they want to admit it or not, I think that's what a lot of collectors clamor for, being the only one to have, whether it's a set registry, a one-of-one, a collection of some sort, being the only person to have that thing. The fact that they can own something nobody else has. As I stated earlier, you could argue that there are too many one-of-ones out there, and I've kind of done some discussions on that in previous videos on this channel. Again, check those out in the archives. But again, anything that's put out that says it's one-of-one, it's one-of-one. And with these being the rarest cards, it doesn't always mean that they're the best investment card to get for whatever talent you're looking at, or the most valuable, but in some cases they are. I'm not here to kind of argue between the two on that. But that being said, we do see a lot of the one-of-ones of, you know, mid-card wrestlers or lower tier wrestlers. Maybe it's wrestlers that are on NXT or wrestlers in AEW that aren't even in the company anymore, aren't even in the business anymore. We see a lot of their one-of-ones go for quite a bit. For example, this Kiana James that I brought up. Now, I know it's a rookie one-of-one, so going back to what I said earlier in this video, that's kind of combining two things there. But that card's not Hulk Hogan. That card's not John Cena. That card's not Roman Reigns. That card's not MJF. When we look at some of the base rookie cards of some of these talents, even if they are in higher grades, or maybe some of them are even autos, be it sticker or on card, you will often find that these one-of-ones are selling for more than all of those things. Now, obviously, there are a few exceptions, but still. I'm just continually seeing one-of-ones of like an insert or, again, a lower named talent selling for more than high-end base rookie cards. And for some collectors out there, I think this is a little bit hard to understand. Why would a one of one of some random person on NXT or Rampage sell for more than a wrestling legend that's got an auto or the rookie card or the high grade? I stated this earlier. I know there's some education that continually needs to be done, getting newer collectors, even if they're more into modern stuff, getting newer collectors into wrestling cards. Or maybe it's people who have collected for 40, 50 years and they're just now getting into the more modern product. Education needs to be had. And again, that's not to say you have to think this way. It's just learning the process of what one of ones are, what golds are, and how that affects things. I still just really feel like it's safe to say that the one of ones of whatever talent that you want is going to be the centerpiece of your collection and the card that most people want. Over base rookie cards, over an auto, be it sticker or on card, one of ones, in my opinion, are the kings. Totally awesome sale of the month, $19.99, Topps WCW Steve Mongo McMichael on-card auto, BGS authenticated, $199 with 99 cents. However, a best offer of $150 with $5.99 shipping was accepted. Here's an example of a real-life event actually affecting card prices and demand more than we think. I've talked about this before, but oftentimes in sports cards, we see the buzz and the hype and the on-field performance reflecting prices and demand. We have players going to new teams, players going into the Hall of Fame, players retiring, players passing away, and of course, on-field or on-court performance. All those affect the card prices and demand of sports cards in general. But we're seeing this more and more with wrestling. And honestly, it's hard for me to say whether it's affecting the prices overall, but I can tell you for sure it is affecting the demand. And this Mongo auto fits that bill. In February of this year, Steve Mongo McMichael was announced as a future member of the NFL Hall of Fame going into the 2024 class. And with that announcement and his current health condition, whoever bought this probably saw that opportunity and pounced. While this could be a investment piece or a flip opportunity for somebody who bought this, I kind of doubt it. I'm guessing the buyer of this card was maybe a Chicago Bears fan, or maybe just a fan of Mongo's wrestling time, or maybe both. Either way, I think this is what collecting anything is really all about. Something that you see or hear triggers a memory, but then you set out to get that item to physically represent memories or moments in time, or just fandom. Surprising sale of the month, 1982 Wrestling All-Star Series B complete set, $1,199 with $5 shipping. Ah yes, what is part of my favorite wrestling card set of all time, the Wrestling All-Stars, 82 and 83. For me, they all just kind of go together. I know they're three separate sets, but it all just goes together, in my opinion. Even though I know that it's one of the maybe more controversial wrestling card sets of rookie cards, and is it officially released cards, or are they homemade cards? And then there's the whole argument of a lot of people that are into collecting these things and other collectors not wanting to be associated with them. I don't care about any of that. I love the talent. I love the sets. Speaking of controversy, I recently did a top 5 video of the 5 most controversial wrestling card sets. Go check that out in the archives of this channel. But I'm well aware that people have a love-hate relationship with Wrestling All-Stars. But look at that price. That's a very solid price for just the Series B. And why I say that is because I think when most people, especially people who aren't really digging into the set or don't know the history, but know Wrestling All-Stars, I think they are immediately thinking of Series A because that features the big 3, Hogan, Flair, Andre. But what the heck is in Series B? While most wrestling historians or die-hard collectors of the past within wrestling, most people in that realm are going to know a lot of the names in this set. That being said, for more of the mainstream wrestling fans, I think they would notice some of the following names, such as Kerry Von Erich, Ricky Steamboat, Sergeant Slaughter, Bobby Heenan, Jesse Ventura, and Iron Sheik, just to name a few. And based on the pictures of this sale, these cards were in really good condition for Wrestling All-Stars. But I bring this sale up to kind of circle back to what I talked about at the beginning of this video. I mentioned the one-of-ones, and do people still like vintage wrestling cards? And while the one-of-ones may get the hobby headlines, right? They may get all those big prices, and they may be bringing more people into the hobby trying to chase the rarity and the big money. I don't ever see the demand for the classics going away. Or the prices, really. I don't think those are ever going to drastically drop. I remember a few years back when I bought my initial set of the Wrestling All-Stars, I was able to get 82 Series A, 82 Series B, and 83 Series A all together for just a little bit over half of what Series B, this example, sold for. And when you also look at that price, you also have to think these are not graded and these are not signed. So in that case, I'm still a little bit shocked that it went for this high, but that's great. And it's not because I don't believe in the cards. Clearly, that's my favorite wrestling card set as a set of all time. Now, I say that I really don't care about the value because I really don't sell any of these other than their duplicates. But again, it just goes back to the top when I was talking about how one of ones, I do believe, if you're a player collector, if you're wanting the top upper echelon card, the one of ones are generally the way to go. You could also argue that it seems like there are so many of these Wrestling All-Stars cards starting to surface. And then you have to talk about the demand and keeping in mind the kind of current status of the more modern collector or the age group that this set will actually appeal to. I could be wrong, and unfortunately, this is the case, that most modern wrestling fans generally don't like to dig that far back into the past. And I think it's just an age thing, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to be a wrestling historian, I get it. That being said, no matter all of these arguments that I've tried to talk against Wrestling All-Stars, people keep buying them. And my hope is that people are actually digging into the history of wrestling and kind of what this set represents within the wrestling card space history and getting a piece or the full set to add to their collection to represent that time period. Questionable sale of the month, 1990 classic WWF Miss Elizabeth auto, $63 with $4 shipping. I've talked ad nauseum about all different kinds of aspects of autographs on this channel, and some people hate autos. Why would anyone care about someone else's name scribbled on a card? And then there's the people who love autos and can kind of look at the autograph as more of a personal connection to the talent on the card than just having that piece of cardboard by itself. Because in many cases, as the autograph's being signed, that talent held the card, touch the card. Maybe it was done in person and there was a nice conversation between the collector and the talent. There's so many different ways of connection with autographs that people have. And we have some people out there that have spent so much time looking at specific sets or autographs and are kind of the go-to people to check on specific talents' autographs to see if they're real. And then there's other people who just simply rely on a PSA, a BGS, a JSA, or any other reputable authentication companies that are out there. So here we have a card supposedly signed by Liz, but no COA from any company, no pictures of her actually signing it. So how, as collectors, should we approach this? Now, look at the sales price, 63 bucks. So if somebody got this and they're going to try to get it authenticated and it comes back as not real, they're not really out that much money to at least try. Maybe somebody out there looked at some of her other autographs that were certified and compared this autograph to those and maybe thought, well, it's close enough, it should be them. You know, a lot of times these autographs kind of change a little bit over time, but then you can still see some similarities. So maybe they looked at this, made that purchase based on that. But some people just buy these things for face value as is. They jump on eBay, they look up blah, 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 autograph card, they see it, and they just buy it because they want to have that autograph in their collection. Maybe in the back of their mind, they realize this may not be real, this may be real, but either way, I want to say that I have one in my collection. I know it's a little bit weird to think about, but that's how some people just straight up collect their stuff. But it just raises a question that I want to kind of bring up to you, the viewers of this channel, the collectors out there. How do you approach non-authentic autographs? You take a chance if the price is right? You just want one to get as affordably as possible, whether it's slabbed, authenticated, non-authenticated, you just want one for your collection. I'd love to hear your approach, thoughts, and opinions on this, or for any of the other cards or talking points that I've talked about in today's video. Leave a comment below with what you think, or you can reach out to me on social media. And when you're done doing that, make sure to check out the links below in the show notes for all the other ways you can help show your support for all of the content that I continue to put out for you. Links to Wrestling with Cards on Patreon for even more content, links to my eBay store, links to my social platforms, and much more. If today's video brought you some value, some entertainment, and you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, give me a like, and spread the word. Tell a friend, tell another collector, a wrestling fan, sports card collector, anybody you think that would appreciate this video, send this video their way. And until next time, click the videos on the screen for more great wrestling card content in the archives of this channel. I'll see you there.